Traces of Change, ladies and gentlemen. As Felix already introduced me, my name is Alexander Pinker and I'm an innovation profiler. If you're wondering what the heck is an innovation profiler, we're not so much different than the criminal profilers. We're also looking for clues. We're looking for traces, but traces of change. And our world is changing rapidly. The motto of Henley is shaping the 21st century together, and we have to shape it because our day is getting more and more digital. Everything is changing. The way we start our day, the way we interact with machines. Everything will be different in the world of tomorrow. The way we learn, the way we work. And today I'm here to give you a glimpse into this world, to give you a little glimpse into the tool set of the innovation profiler, and to make you ready for this future. And innovation is a little bit like a normal crime. It also has suspects, it has victims, and it has a crime scene. And this is the crime scene in San Francisco. You may see the little blue and red dots. The blue dots are classic hotel offerings. The red dots are Airbnb offerings. And the hotel industry asked themselves one question. Why didn't I see it coming? They did not see this digital platform coming, and they were a little bit surprised. Other industries followed, like Blockbuster Videos, who didn't see Netflix coming. They also asked themselves, why didn't I see it coming? And that shall not happen to you. I'm here to provide you with a little bit of insight and later a workshop about the future foresight, and future predicting. But for now, I have a little bit of a warm-up exercise for you. Let me present to you the coolest cooler. The coolest cooler is very cool. It has a blender. It has speakers. It starts spontaneous dance parties, apparently. It has a USB charger, it's waterproof, and who does not know the situation when you're on your boat and you need a cool drink? Keep the coolest cooler in mind. We'll come back to it later. Now let me introduce to you Signal. Signal is an innovation you never knew you would not need. Just put up your finger to your ear and start talking. Phoning in the future starts with putting up your finger to your ear. Yeah. Why do I tell you that? You remember the coolest cooler? Who think it's a good innovation? Hands up.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm surprised. Okay. The coolest cooler was a Kickstarter campaign. They tried to get $50,000 funding, and they got $13,285,226 of Kickstarter funding.
Amazing.
Again, they wanted to have 50 grand. What do you think? Signal. Good or bad innovation? Hands up. Who thinks it's a good innovation? Well, if I ask like that, you should know the answer. They got $1,469,202 of Kickstarter funding. So, what do we learn from that? Your instinct, your gut feeling is important, but not always right. But yeah, instinct isn't everything. Because 70% of all innovations fail in the first years or over time because they weren't able to follow, to change. You may remember the pager, the must-have instrument for doctors, the #1 communication tool. I'm trying to ask, who has a pager here in this room? No one. No? Who ever had a pager? Hey, 2, yeah. Or Concorde, one of the most expensive failures ever. Or some people may remember a Sony Betamax, the competition to the VHS, which failed. And history repeated itself with HD DVD versus Blu-ray. And I have many friends which bought the whole DVD collection in HDVD. They're not very happy about that one. So, what do we learn? Identify the traces of change. or it's my language, it's innovation profiler, blah, blah. Identify the microtrends in your business. But what are microtrends? Microtrends are changing our lives. Microtrends are changing our future. For example, gesture control. Mario, you can feel like a Yeti Knight. Yeah, many companies are already investing in gesture control. You may know the Kinect from Microsoft, a little bit of gesture control, or in another way, the Wii. It's also a sort of gesture control. But in a few years, this will change everything. Give it 5 to 10 years. Another microtrend, which is getting very important in our everyday life, is 3D printing. And nowadays you can print everything. You can print the smallest parts for your machinery. You can print food, which may be delicious. I'm not quite sure about that. You can even print organs, prosthetics. And in a few years, 3D printing will conquer our everyday life. And you are not going to cook anymore. I'm quite sure about that. So microtrends are the small changes behind big trend movements. And you have to know them. Because someday they're not going to be microtrends anymore. They're going to be trends. Really emerging trend movements. They're becoming the usual suspects. Like augmented reality, virtual reality, and robots or artificial intelligence, which are already changing our lives today. I'm not sure how much you know about those trend movements, but I give you a little glimpse about it, or inside of it. Augmented reality. You can place virtual objects in the real world. And that may sound a little bit strange, but you may remember Pokemon Go. The strange phenomenon where everyone was staring at their smartphones, staring at their displays. It was a little bit creepy, to be honest, but it showed companies one thing. People were capable and willing to use augmented reality. And soon our world will become immersified, like this teaser from the HoloLens shows us. Microsoft brings us the future of product design, for example. You can see your designs right at the object. You can place it and change it. It's much better than working at a display, on a display. And our advertising is also changing. Branding is changing. Like Visa did at Poland, they brought a whole zoo into this mall. And the people were hyped, young and old. That's customer engagement in a new way of level. They're doing photos, and everything was branded with Visa. You may ask yourself now, what have zoo animals to do with Visa? I don't know. I really don't know. But it worked. Everyone was staring. And in the near future, our day will become a little bit more creative. In the Internet of Everything, information will play a key factor. And with augmented reality, mixed reality, we also can learn, for example, how to cut a cucumber. If you don't already know that.
Without the finger. Without the finger.
Yep. It's such a great game. I'm looking forward to it.
Always wanted to know
He's quite bad at it. Yeah. But, well, every technological trend, every technological change comes with a downside. And we humans tend to overdo it absolutely with everything. So beware of information overflow and the hyper reality, where everything has virtual objects in it. Yeah, even shopping is changing. So my action tip: attract the attention, but also don't forget the added value. You need it. Someday in the future, 1 to 2 years, augmented reality will become our everyday life. So zoo animals will not hype anyone anymore. You have to think of a real value for that one. Let's switch to virtual reality. Virtual reality is different from augmented reality. Augmented reality brings us virtual objects into the real world. But virtual reality lets us dive into a virtual world. And many industries are already using it, like the travel industry, gaming industry, movie industry, or construction. They have seen the potential of virtual reality because you can have a much different customer experience, like on these coasters. This one is from Europa Park in Germany. Well, it's a little bit different from the classic coasters, isn't it? And branding is also changing. You can forget classic branding elements. I know, Steff, you won't be happy about that one. Forget fair stands, forget posters. Let the people dive into the brand universe of your brand, like Audi did with the Q7 launch event at Moscow. That smoke is so wrong. They're not seeing it. They wear glasses. But that's brand experience at a whole different level. And the people are really moved by it, literally. And then there are products which are hard to describe. For example, when you have foreign destinations, like Marriott has with their hotels. So how do I show people my hotels, this destination? Well, Marriott's had a solution. They positioned VR cabinets in front of a city hall and stopped newlywed couples, which looked like that. Your virtual honeymoon. But again, a downside. Beware of escapism. You may remember Second Life, the computer game where you could build your second world inside of the computer. Now imagine you can live in it, thanks to virtual reality. Who would ever want to leave it again? Action tip: give your customers a look behind the scenes. Use it for branding, use it for your service, use it to give them a new sort of customer experience. And then there are, of course, robots and artificial intelligence. And please, forget movies like Transcendent, Ex Machina, or I, Robot. I'm not talking about robots taking over our world. I'm talking about robots helping us, like Molly does. He cooks your favorite meal, learn from the best chefs in the world. And the best thing, he cleans up afterwards. Our personal assistants in the living room, like Alexa, Google Home, Siri, they're already improving our life. They're making it more productive or more efficient. In the near future, personal assistants will become part of our lives more and more. They will live in our hands, they will conquer the offices, and will change everything. But of course, there's this one question: will robots take my job? There's a website for you, willrobotstakemyjob.com. Enter your job, I'm pretty sure the robots are watching you. Yeah, but it's still a long time before our jobs really are in jeopardy. If he can take his job, he will be happy to do so. My action tip: see what bots can do for you and your service today. Think of chatbots, for example. Chatbots are an easy solution to improve your service today. You can have customer service in 24/7, for example. But please, know the difference between trend and trendy. Not just because you heard of a trend in a lecture like this one, or you read about it, means it's really fit for your company. Know the innovation fit, know the innovation company fit of the real innovation, and talk to your customers. Start an interrogation. Talk to people and identify the opportunities. Look at the individual uniqueness of the innovation, but also look if they really can solve a problem of your customer. For example, like you did.
I came up with the idea for a translator when I met a French girl. Elodie, put this in your ear.
Je mets ça dans mon oreille,
Yeah, put it in your ear.
comme ça.
Yeah.
Ok.
Can you hear me in French?
Pouvez-vous me entendre en français?
Et je peux t'entendre parler.
The old story, boy meets girl, boy does not speak French, so he invents a translator. Pilot can solve a problem. The language barrier can be solved with that one. Another example resolves out of a megatrend. Urbanization is a megatrend. Many people are leaving the countryside to live in the big cities and leaving behind their families. It's hard to keep in contact, and Skype and telephoning isn't the same. So Microsoft thought we could solve that problem with our HoloLens and the holoportation.
My daughter is stood in a similar capture rig somewhere else in our lab, and she's going to holoport into my space, and I'm going to interact with her wearing my HoloLens.
Hi, Bob, I miss you.
Hey Lilia, I miss you too.
You coming home?
I'm coming home very soon. Let me get out of your way. Hey Lilia, you can only hear me, you can't see me, but what are these toys?
I have toys to show you. This one is name is Elmo.
Elmo?
And he can sing.
You can sing, wow.
Also a part of problem solving, not real human-to-human contact, but in business it's a nice add-on for meetings. Far beyond the classic conference call. So viewing innovations from a different perspective is the key to success. A man who really knew how to do that was the former CEO of Procter & Gamble, A.G. Lafley. That man visited dozens of customers in a year. He cleaned their houses with them, he drove to the garage, and he talked to them about products that are not from Procter & Gamble. He used observation and listening as the key to his and his company's success. But be careful. People lie. They're not doing so to hurt you. They're doing so to answer socially adequate, for example, or even the difference, not to hurt your feeling. So don't ask them, do you think it's a good innovation? The poor definition of innovation is it's radical and it's new. So if you ask someone, do you think it's good? He does not know what you're talking about, but he will not say no. So ask for previous behavior. Ask what keeps them awake at night. Ask for the frequency at which this problem occurs. Or ask for as many details as possible to get an answer. And then it's case closed. And you will have many ideas. You will sit in front of walls full of Post-its. like Sherlock does in the BBC series. But that's not a bad thing. The best way to have a good idea is to have a lot of ideas. So get in touch with people. Question yourself. Keep your eyes open. Create added value. Be ready for the future. Be open for the future. Think of Airbnb. Be the profiler, not the victim. Thank you.